Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Madisonville Marine. Think summer, folks. G3 boats, G3 Suncatcher pontoons, offering instant rebates up to $6,000 on all in-stock inventory purchased between today and May 12th. $6,000 in instant rebates on some of the best boats on the water. Madisonville Marine, there is no better place to buy a boat, especially right now through May 12th. Madisonville Marine, Highway 411 North in Madisonville. All right, we have an extra second here, and I'm going to use it on something I forgot to throw out in that last segment very quickly, just talking about Adu. I thought it was interesting. Before we get into rapid fire, the way he left here and the way he didn't tell them and the way it sounded like Barnes didn't, he said it was fine. You wonder if, getting back to people they listen to, you wonder if he and his people thought he was scapegoated for the way he was benched against Purdue. I just wonder if that didn't lead to, so you're not even going to put me out there in the second half? Just popped into my head. I was going to ask it. Now I'm just going to float it out there and let you wonder. These guys don't get to comment because we got to get to 4 other questions. Vince, your question number 1. Let's go ahead and put up the quote. This week, Danny White said of new Lady Vols coach Kim Caldwell, "Kim is a star. We have a superstar. I'm really excited. I think she is the most talented up-and-coming coach in the country. She's going to be great for us." Vince, will Lady Vol fans buy what Danny White is selling? That's a hard sell right there. That's big stuff.
I think a fair amount of them will because of the benefit of the doubt factor. So I mean that's pretty big compliments. Like, it's hard for a lot of us that don't have the background that Danny White does to put that label on, but I do think Danny White deserves the benefit of the doubt that he's identified one of the bright up-and-coming coaches in the country. He has done it a lot in multiple sports. And then also that's part of his role, right? He's the athletic director.
He's the hype man.
He's got to believe in it. He's got to sell it. So I'm not saying he doesn't believe in it, but you put it in a way to where it can be digested, and then that can be moved on and resold for you by the fans.
We said the Sunday she was hired, before she was hired, she was going to be the person that we thought, hey, this is probably her because she shoots a ton of three-pointers and he likes that kind of system. If it's her, we give her the benefit of the doubt because of what he's done. So I agree with all that. I just thought, this is, wow. She is a star. We have a superstar.
It's not a very big sample size for her coaching career to be a superstar in my book.
We have a superstar. That is not, I'm trying to think of the times I've heard an AD say that about a new hire. That stood out to me as a big sell.
All right. Sells tickets.
Yeah, it does. All right. Josh, the state of Virginia passed a law last week that made it legal for schools to pay players with NIL dollars directly. Wow. Meaning the NCAA can't say a thing. If the school no longer has to have a collective go out, school can do it in Virginia, Virginia Tech, James Madison, they can now pay directly. The question for you, can the NCAA exist in this future, or will something else have to be built? Can the NCAA even tweak it and fix it, or for the big schools, does it have to go away and you just have to start from scratch or something else?
I mean, maybe by name, like there's some kind of takeover, and somebody else is running whatever the NCAA is going to be in the future when it comes to...
It's Van Halen with Sammy Hagar.
Yeah, okay. with football and men's basketball.
It's an old-timer comment right there.
But, no, I mean, it's just the days are numbered, and I think the number is a lot shorter than we thought maybe a year ago, 5 years ago of, okay, things are going to change in the future of college sports. It's changing a lot more quickly than I anticipated.
Yeah, and I just... The idea that, well, we're going to tweak this and work with the NCAA and we'll make the NCAA this new thing that can work. The stuff is changing too fast and in too big of ways.
Well, I mean, they don't stand a chance in these fights against the states either.
Yeah, and I don't see how the NCAA can even exist. I can see it existing for everything, all the other sports. I can see it existing for everything but the biggest 50 or so football programs. But the more it goes down this path, I just looks like you have to create something completely different. I don't know how you get the NCAA to become something else. All right, Jimmy, college football approved the use of in-helmet communications and a 2-minute warning this week. Is it a good thing or a bad thing that the line between college and pro football continues to disappear? I mean, we got free agency now, basically. You're paying players. And now the rules are looking more and more identical every year. Is that a good thing or a bad thing that they're no longer two separate entities?
To me, it's not a good thing. I like the separation. I like having a difference in the rules of the game in college versus the pros. And I used to think it was because you paid players in the pros, but
Yeah.
that argument's out the window. No, I would just rather separate. I don't think you need a 2-minute warning. I'm not a big fan of that. I do like the helmet situation though, where you can communicate that way. But the other parts of it, I would rather have some separation in the rules that they have college football versus NFL.
Next big one you're going to see is the NFL's changed their kickoff rule this
Right.
year to match the UFL, which I didn't even realize was playing. But my guess is once the NFL does that this season, or maybe 2 seasons down the road, you're going to see college football do the exact same thing with their kickoffs as well. Just a guess. All right, Chuck, last one is for you. On the first day of the portal, let's go ahead and put the numbers up. On the first day of the spring portal, when it opened, 221 scholarship players entered. Total scholarship players over the last 2 windows, the last academic year, 2,100 players. That is a 25% increase over the prior year. So a quarter more in the last year than the previous year. 20% of those entering on day 1 of the portal this year had already transferred at least one time before. And we're talking football here, but we were talking earlier about the 2 guys coming here for basketball. Both of them, this would be their 3rd stop. My question for you, true or false, the popularity of college football will decline if the transfer issue isn't fixed?
True. And you're seeing that more and more. I mean, I'm seeing it in social media. Jimmy's, you're talking about the line between college and pros and all that. It's so much more like that. You're a free agent. It's year to year, unlimited transfers. To me, there's too many dates that you give the kid the chance to make a decision. I mean, you got to do something about how many times they can say, okay, assistant coach made me mad today. I'm out of here. I'm going to transfer. So, yeah, it's turning more and more people off. It really is.
It'll be in big picture, and we got a second here, so I'll let everybody chime in on that one. I could see it hurting like Tennessee or Kentucky or Michigan, and people just saying, I'm not going to get as invested as I have in the past. I'm not going to spend every Saturday over there. I don't think it'll hurt the sport on television because it's on. I think people will still flip by and watch it, and they'll sit there and watch, and that's still going to make TV money be great. But I do agree. I think a lot of fans, if this doesn't stop, I think you're going to see it eat away at attendance and that level. But I think it's just something that's on television. I don't think that'll hurt.
I agree with you, but the other part of that too is that betting is so easy now. I think that a lot of people bet and they're more invested, so they'll watch a game. They'll watch some of these bowl games that we think there are too many of.
Yeah.
But I got money on Maine versus Boston U. So
it's a great game.
I do think the betting portion of it will maintain a certain level of popularity. But I do think attendance will go down.
Who you got, Black Bears or the Terriers?
The Terriers. Yeah, I'm scared of Terriers.
Yeah. All right. Does anybody else want to jump in on that? You got like 20 seconds.
I just wonder, casual fans, maybe they're already kind of checking out this time of year and treat the transfer portal kind of like recruiting, where it's like, okay, if we get a 5-star, maybe I'll talk about that. But otherwise, I kind of move on. For the diehard fans that care about it 12 months out of the year, it's extra things to pay attention to. So when a player at a running back, Damian Martinez, enters the portal, whether Tennessee's going to be in the mix or not, diehard fans think, can we get that guy?
Yeah.
And it creates the off-season conversation.
Spoken like a radio talk show host, right?
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think that it is, I mean, you could make a case that nothing can hurt college football. Do you think it can? Or I agree with Chuck that I think it'll hurt at some level. I don't think it's going to hurt TV. But do you make a case that it doesn't hurt at all?
Well, I think it can turn off some people, but I think it adds interest for others. It's kind of like they're bad calories, but people are still going for them.
And people are betting on whether Martinez goes to Tennessee.
There you go.
Take Arizona.
Vince has already lost. When we come back, Philip Fulmer would have made a lot more playoffs in the current format. But would the Vols have won a lot more titles as a result? Let's debate that next on the Sports Source.